Hi everybody, my name is Pedro, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about the idea the journey is better than the end. I'm excited to talk about that. And if you are new to my channel, I have recently switched formats. I used to do a lot of book reviews, book summaries, but I'm focusing more now going forward on big ideas from books and idea extraction from books. With a thought as I'm reading each week, I'm finding the best ideas I can, and then I'm going to be sharing them through video. And so today's big idea, it does come from this book right here that I'm reading. So it's called Wooden on Leadership by John Wooden. I've had a lot of fun reading through this. It's been a really good book, surprisingly good book. And so if you don't know who John Wooden is, he is a basketball coach. So he used to coach the UCLA Bruins. He won 10 national championships, and by most counts is one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time, if not the greatest basketball coach. So just tremendously successful as a coach, holds all sorts of records, and 10 national championships. That's just amazing. And so in this book, he is kind of sharing the principles of success and leadership, which he employed while as a coach that brought him all this success. And so as I was reading, right at the beginning, he's framing what success is to him. And this is where I found this idea. And so he quotes that line, the journey is better than the end. I've also heard it said, the road is better than the end, a quote by Cervantes. And it's pretty interesting how he views this quote and what he gets out of it. And so to translate it into John Wooden's, I guess the way he thinks of it is the practice or the practices are better than the games or better than the national championships. And that's really interesting. Here's the most successful person when it comes to these things of winning and national championships. But to him, the success and the joy was in those practices and is in the improvement of his players. So really interesting idea. And it kind of comes down to effort and individual effort and then the team effort. And so he gives this example of one of the teams he coached was the 1959-1960 UCLA team. And the team's record was 14-12. And so just barely over 500, pretty average, middle of the pack as far as records go in a season. But he says when he looks back, that was some of the best coaching he did was with that 1959 team. The team had a lot of setbacks. They lost a lot of players from the year before. And he said, at the end of the day, there wasn't as much talent. But he said, as a coach, watching those individual players, those athletes, it was as close to coming to 100% individual effort as he's seen. And so he took this team that was probably somewhere down here and was able to get 14 wins out of them. And he felt like it was so much success in that team. More so even than maybe the 30-0 perfect team a few years down the road. Meaning that he was able to extract more success out of those players. And so he says, but the critics and outsiders, they're concerned with the national championship. What's your record? What records have you broken? And so to them, in their measuring stick, a 14-12 1959 UCLA team was not successful. But one of the great sports leaders of all time, he says that was some of his best coaching and some of the most success he's ever seen. So it's really interesting when he's thinking of it in this terms, the idea that you kind of set your own measuring stick, you give your best effort, and that is success. And so to John Wooden, if you give 100% effort, you are successful. If you give anything less than that, you failed in some regard. And that leads me to a quote. I'm just going to read this directly from the book, but he says, "We live in a society obsessed with winning and being number one. Don't follow the pack. Rather, focus on the process instead of the prize." And even during UCLA's best seasons, he said he wasn't focused on winning. He tried to avoid focusing on winning and even mentioning that a lot to his teams. Instead, he was focused on having great practices, getting the most out of those practices, getting each player to give their all in practices. And he said that translates into whatever the winning score is, or whatever on that end, or whatever accolades might come. But it's more just in the journey. And so I really find that interesting, the thought that here's someone so great, at the pinnacle of success within his realm, and he's just so focused on, well, what is your practice looking like? What is your individual effort looking like? That is more successful to me than anything that could be awarded to me. And so I think it's a pretty big idea here. Even, when I think of my own applicability, how could I apply this principle to myself? I definitely do think that I get a lot of outside influence, these worldly influences that are, this is the measure of success, whether it's once you live in this big of a house, or you live in this place, or you have this job title, or you're making this amount of money each year. Once you hit that, then you've reached some level of success. And and what I like about this principle is, like, well, first off, you can't control what others think or what they are setting the standard at. You can control what your measuring stick is. So individually, I need to know what my goals are within, whether it's my career or with my family or other pursuits. I set those, and then I give my best effort, and I can judge my own success based on, that effort that I give. And I need to enjoy and realize, that growth, the growth that I want is that journey. And that's really what I should be after. Because any tangible things at the end of the road, the in that quote, isn't as important as the journey. And I really do believe that. And so I'm really glad that I read this. I think it's kind of eye-opening, and it's a way to view life and goals and what really matters with regards to success. And so hopefully that helps you. I'd love to hear more in the comments below. Do you agree that the journey or the road is better than the end destination or the inn? What are your thoughts with success in this regard? I'd love to hear that. I might do some more videos from Wooden on leadership. He does give what I thought was kind of interesting. Let's see, right here, if you can see this. He has this pyramid of success, and the whole book is going to explain kind of his principles and foundations of success. And I thought maybe I could do a video an overview video on that. Because if you watched my last video, I talked about getting more out of books, and I said in the next few months I really want to focus on being able to really understand what I'm reading and understanding, this framework. And so I'm employing that principle now. And even, in the week I've been doing that, I feel like I've been getting more out of my reading. But anyways, that's all I had today. Again, that idea, the journey is better than the end, and just, being careful of how you measure success, because you can control all of those inputs and not other people's. And so thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next video.